we've won 5 out of 6. So I think one's got to compare your averages with the opposition's averages, not the tournaments, because you might play on a wicket like last night. We saw 130 odd defended, 120 defended. So it's very dangerous to consider the tournament's numbers as opposed to our matches numbers. And in each case, we've done enough to get the win, and our batsmen were able to chase it down. So that's the first point I'd like to make. And the second point I'd like to make is that we always try to improve. What we very strongly do in review is to review the execution of whatever the plan is, and not necessarily always the outcome, because as we saw, Siraj bowled one of the best wide Yorkers to MS Dhoni. Most of us have seen him went for 6. So sometimes that's the way it works. So if we execute our plans the way we wanted to, then we're happy. And there are certain lengths we'd like to improve on, certain lines we'd like to improve on, and then we work on all the time. But we're also very aware that this is a long tournament. We're not even halfway yet, and we feel we're improving. But we'd like to give our batsmen less to chase. Well, we do already. I mean, the practice today is optional. We've had 2 days off. Rest is very important. How the guys recover. It's always a consideration. We've got a few guys that have been around the circuit for a while, and they know how to manage their bodies, and it's a very important part. Whether it'll actually come in selection, that's to decide what happens in the match. Does Watson play a long innings, or doesn't he? That's not really something that I'm going to be speaking about now, but certainly it's a massive consideration all the time, because, as I said, we're not even halfway yet, and it's a long way to go still. I think fortunately a few of us were here last year with a Pune supergiant, and to be back again and have some understanding of the pitch at least gives us some sense of a home ground. We do understand the wind, we understand what the wicket's about, lines to bowl, where your field placing needs to be, but the pitch itself looks very good. It looks like it could be a high-scoring game. That's a difficult question to answer. Now, I think one of the things about MS through all my time involved with him, through becoming world champion, winning the ICC World Championship, the difficulties of our tour in England and Australia, he's always been a very consistent person. He's very consistent in he doesn't get emotionally high and he doesn't get emotionally low, and I think that's part and parcel of what of his incredible strengths are. But I think what happens is the game evolves. MS always says that, I might not look orthodox, but I'm very effective, and that's the way he thinks, that's the way he plays, and he reads the game. So he senses where the game's changed and where he's moved. Last night, RCB the other night was about reading the game, understanding who were the key bowlers and who was going to target at the back end, and that's what MS is about. So I think it's been more about him being able to understand where the game's going and allowing his strengths to move with it. Whether it's scoring square, whether it's being able to, they're bowling wide at me. How do I effectively combat that? As we saw the other night, because that's the place people bowl. So his evolution is more about the way that he understands the game than him trying to be technically different. I don't think he thinks too much about it. I think he's very instinctive, and that's his strength.